Hi, so today is Sunday, June 28th. It's about noon. It's been a couple weeks since I've been out to Miraval. I just watched back some of my videos though, because I know I haven't posted anything yet. I guess my fear was that each video I made was like 10 minutes or longer, and I just assumed nobody would want to watch. It'd be like an hour straight of me talking. So I thought I would make a video real quick to summarize how my stay was. And so this video might be a little bit longer, but it might be easier to watch than, I don't know, 10 to 15 minute long videos. But I did realize I never summed up my last day that I was out there either, so I'll also go into that. But I'm also going to post the other videos because I think it is important to see if you want to. It's important for me, anyway, to see on myself the change in my attitude and facial expression and just how I handled everything from the first day that I showed up there until the last. But I will say, as I just watched back my videos right now, I actually felt really sad inside because I looked so sad with how I was talking. Even when I'd say things were fun, I stayed very, just like no emotion coming out of me. And that makes me feel really sad. And I also talked in one video how I wanted to change that and have more joy in my life and laugh more, and I still haven't really incorporated that. So it was a good reminder for me to watch these, to just try to remember that it's okay to show some emotion in my face and not talk so statuesque, So anyway, the first day I arrived, which was a Sunday morning, I had a couple treatments that day, and one was the holographic memory resolution, and that was with a therapist who would put his hand on the back of my neck and feel energy and would have me associate colors with trauma in my past, and we would assign a new color to it, so when I recall those bad memories, I can try to have something positive to tie in with it to help get over those things. So that treatment was really good. It was hard for me to really appreciate it that day because it was my first day, my first treatment. I was feeling pretty uncomfortable and insecure, so it was a little weird. But I definitely, looking back on it, gained something from that. I also had I guess it was called Skillfully Aware lecture, and that was the one that talked about stress and how to manage stress more. After that, I had lunch, and then I went to a clay class, which was fun to work with the clay, but like I mentioned in another video, it was mostly just them talking to us and not a lot of clay work, so I just kind of made like a blob of a clay thing. So it was fun, but it definitely wasn't what I was expecting. The instructors were really nice, though. It was an older married couple, and I did really like them. The last treatment that day was a deep spa renewal treatment, and that was the salt scrub followed by a full body massage. So I talked about it being like an outside treatment, which it really technically wasn't outside, but the shower part was outside, which was interesting and a little uncomfortable for me, but the treatment overall was very good and relaxing. The second day, which was Monday, I think I mentioned in one of my other videos, that was the morning that I woke up. I was having bad dreams quite a bit while I was there, but that morning I woke up crying hysterically, and I really struggled with allowing myself to behave that way. I kept trying to talk myself out of it and to tell myself to knock it off, and even though obviously nobody could see what I was doing, nobody would have ever known that I had this moment. I'm choosing to tell you guys now because I do think it's important, but I didn't have to tell anybody. But still, it wasn't like others were judging me. I was really being hard on myself and judging myself, which again, in hindsight, made me feel really sad because I know that I'm hard on myself, but just trying to even have like a vulnerable moment all by myself, I still really struggle doing that. So anyway, that kind of sucked. And I think there was one other day that I woke up kind of doing the same thing, as far as like feeling sad. Not as bad as that Monday morning, but I did have a little bit of a freak out moment. I don't know what my hair is doing here, but whatever. I don't even care. So That second day on Tuesday, that was the day that I had the equine experience, which you'd have to watch my other video for me to go into detail. I could talk on and on about this. This treatment was probably the most beneficial for me because you got results right away. So I definitely learned something like instantly from that class. It was very cool. After that, I had the Nagatai massage, and that was the one where they're using scarves to help control their body, and most of the massage is done with the therapist's feet. So that massage was a very different type of massage, but it was really cool. After that, I did, let's see, ceremonies for the soul. No. Monday, let's see. That's when I had the seminar, the grief, loss, and letting go. That was really interesting, just to talk about the different steps in grieving something, and how to, like, you know, just how to move past it. So not really like forgive what happened, but just helped work past things. So the group classes weren't quite as beneficial, obviously, because there was, you know, the talks were pretty short. They're like an hour long, and it's not very personalized, but it's still enjoyable to get some tools out of those. Which, ironically enough, I've had enough different types of therapy in classes that I've learned a lot of those same tools that were explained. So I probably didn't gain a lot from those, but they were definitely good reminders for me. So I am glad that I did some of the group classes. After that, I had a treatment that was the Illuminated Path treatment, which I had no idea what that was going to be about. And that one was, trying to remember, the Illuminated Path. Oh, that was the one, I think, where it was crafts, where I actually like drew my picture with the pastels. And that session was really awesome, because I now have this picture that I've shown different people, and they see different things in the picture. And there's still some truth to what they're seeing, even though I didn't actually mean to draw those things. It's really hard to explain, but different people's interpretations actually kind of ring true as well for me in my life. So it's really cool to get different input from people, to learn even more. Let's see. The next day was the day that I did my spirit flight, and that was the treatment with the shaman. So it was about an hour of just talking therapy, and that was followed by almost 2 hours of, which typically it's not like a 3 hour long process, but ours ran long, and he was really cool and was accommodating for that. So the other 2 hours was like ritual type stuff. He kept joking and saying it's kind of like an exorcism. It's to get rid of bad energy and feelings and thoughts. And he has some Hopi, a Hopi background. So he's learned the different rituals that the Hopis would do. So there was a lot of Native American type chanting and ceremonial type stuff, which was really cool for me, especially growing up in Page, which that's not Hopi dominant, but definitely Navajos. And so to hear the accent in his voice, like when you talked to him one-on-one, you couldn't tell at all that he was Native. But when he would start his rituals and do the different singing and chants and stuff, you definitely heard the Native American accent. And, you know, we dealt with like fire and feathers and drums and flutes and him chanting, and then a full body massage. Also acupuncture, which I think just barely I've gotten rid of the bruise that was in my ear from one of the needles, but I've always wanted to try acupuncture, so that was really cool. And apparently the muscles in my back loosened up pretty well after the acupuncture. The massage and stuff didn't really do it, but the acupuncture helped quite a bit. And, you know, supposedly it was going to be the first day of the rest of my life when I left there, and whether it's like the placebo effect or not, when I left there I definitely felt lighter and happier, and almost like you wanted to just start, you know, skipping. And again, I don't know how much truth there is to all of it, but I stayed very open-minded, and, you know, I'm willing to try anything to just feel less stressed and happier overall. So I really enjoyed that, and he suggested that I go to water after that treatment, because I guess back in the day that's what they would do. Um, so I actually did go to the pool briefly on that day. I actually went and bought a new bathing suit from the gift shop, um, which was cool. I figured I was on vacation, so why not? So I went and did that, and then I went into the pool for just a little bit. And then I also signed up for an extra treatment that he suggested, which was the Himalayan bath treatment thing that him and his wife do together. But I'll get to that in a second. So I had the spirit flight. I was supposed to go to a talk, but he suggested that I just really let what we just did kind of sink in, and like I said, go to a pool and just whatever. So I missed that talk, which was fine because it was free. And then I had a class called Life is Simple with Wyatt Webb, and he's the one who does the equine treatments. He didn't do the treatments when I did that class, but he is the founder, I think, of that program. But anyway, it ended up just being me, so I guess nobody else signed up. So it was just me and him, and that was probably the least enjoyable thing for me overall, out of everything I did. He was really hard to understand. He was a very nice guy, and he's actually my neighbor. He doesn't live in the same development as I do, but he lives like not even one block away from here. Very nice, but he kind of mumbled when he talked, so it was really hard for me to understand him. And because it was just me and him, and he was injured. He has, his shoulder was injured, so he was like in a sling, so he couldn't write stuff. So it was just us talking. But it was good. It just, again, it was a little weird. Then after that, that's when I had my facial that night. So, and with the lady that I think I'm going to continue to get facials from, she runs a business out of her home here, and she lives really close to me here in Tucson. So I will probably contact her to continue to get facials from her, which will be much cheaper than it was out there at Miraval. But she was extremely nice, and we got along really well and joked around a lot, and it was just a really nice way to end my day. Wednesday morning, I woke up a little emotional because it was my last day there, and I was so sad to be leaving, because the thing I gained the most out of this experience out at Miraval was it was just so awesome to be in an environment that is so accepting and laid back and non-judgmental, and it actually helped me to feel that way about myself. I ended up not being as judgmental or hard on myself as I typically am. So I thought that was really cool, and you really felt comfortable walking around just however. Nobody was judging you, nobody was looking at you funny. I don't know, it was just a very peaceful environment. Which, if you saw any of my other videos, or if you end up watching them, my very first one while I was on the property was how I was kind of disappointed about how laid back it was. But in hindsight, I'm almost thankful that it's that way, because it forced me to ask questions and feel uncomfortable. So instead of them just saying, here, this is what you do, I had to say, when I went to the spa for the first time, and I told them I was here for my treatment, and they were just like, okay, I had to actually say, like, okay, where's the dressing room? What do I do when it's time for my treatment? I'm used to going to places where they just automatically do all that, but here they didn't. And so at first I was a little irritated about it, but again, looking back, it was nice because it forced me to say, I need help. What do I do? So it made me feel more comfortable admitting that I didn't know what to do, which is hard for me. I don't ever want to look foolish or, like I don't understand something. So that was actually, like I said, in hindsight, it was actually really good. So anyway, so Wednesday was my last day. That's when I had the Mirror of the Soul treatment, and that one was really cool. That one was with the lady that I had the talk on the Grief, Loss, and Letting Go lecture, the class lecture. So I had a one-on-one with her, and that was where I picked different shapes that were on cards, the ones that I liked the most, and it was like a clear card with like black writing on them, but still like a see-through card. So I picked those, and then she laid out a bunch of cards with color on them, and then I'd match up the shape that I got on top of the color to see which color it looked best with. So I did that, and then there was like a big circular map of what each of these cards and colors meant. So again, what like psychic reading reading cards or whatever. But I kept an open mind, and it was interesting because first of all the shapes that I picked were all very circular and um, just very circular and plain looking. All the colors I matched them with were all very dull colors. Nothing was bright. I obviously didn't do that on purpose. I like a lot of really bright colors, but for some reason I paired it up with like very tan, like browns, golds, those kind of colors, which was interesting. And then the order that it went on this map kind of told like where I'm at right now, like if I'm ready to fix problems that I have and whatever. So anyway, it was very informative. It was very cool. The cards, we ended up putting the cards on different colored cards to make them pop more, which it's funny to me how just seeing those shapes on different bright colors actually did have more like energy and more positivity with it. So it was suggested to me by her that I should maybe try to add more color, either get like a really bright colored like throw for the couch, or I explained to her how we just recently bought new sheets for our bedroom, and I bought two different sets, and one set is a very light, dull green, and the other set is gray, and our new duvet cover is gray. And I remember originally, oh, and we bought new towels too, and it's the same thing. One set of towels is brown, and the other set's like this light green. And I remember John was trying to talk me into buying these like bright purple towels, and I was like, that doesn't match anything, and I was more concerned about it matching, but he was leaning towards these like bright colors, and I ended up picking these really dull colors, and it's funny to me, so I'm gonna try somehow to incorporate something. This is actually a really good reminder for me because I just forgot about all this until now, that I need to get something really bright that I see every day, because even seeing that bright color really does make a difference. Additionally, she suggested that I do workouts and stuff that involve me like, letting energy go, and all this pent up negative energy that I have. So I definitely can't see myself doing Zumba. That's too structured, and I'd feel if I couldn't even cry by myself, there's no way I'm gonna get up and dance like a fool in front of everybody. So my suggestion to her was, oh, so you're saying that I should dance like a fool every night? So I've suggested with John things, just put on music and just completely dance like complete idiots. We've yet to do this, but that's kind of the idea. And the idea of that is that you can't help but laugh and have a good time when you're acting like fools. So anyway, those were really good suggestions for me to just kind of, again, get out of my comfort zone and just get all that seriousness that's in me, just get it out. And what better way to do that than to dance like a fool? So that treatment was very beneficial. My final treatment was called, let's see. Oh, I completely messed up though. Oh yeah, before my facial on that night, on Tuesday night, that's when I did the Himalayan bath ceremony. And that was basically we were just laying in a pool of salt water while they played different sounds on these bowls, the different vibrations and the different sounds, and you're literally just laying on your back floating. You got like floaties, like the noodles and stuff that you're laying on, but you're literally just laying there and just letting the sounds and the vibrations kind of do its job. And that didn't seem real effective for me. I guess the coolest part about it was to just really like lay there and do nothing. But I kept wanting to, like open my eyes and peek and look around. But again, I think that was okay. They didn't say you had to have your eyes closed. I think I was trying too hard to do the right thing, and completely blank my mind out and just, think of nothing. That when I'd start to think about random stuff in life, I would tell myself, nope, like you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to just lay here and do nothing. But I finally quit battling with that, and I just let myself do whatever. So it was relaxing and it was nice. The coolest part about that day, so that was the day I also went out to the pool briefly by myself, was that I actually was able to wear, and again I just bought this new bathing suit. I was actually able to wear that and walk around and be in the presence of other people without actually caring. And I have never in the history, even when I was lighter than I am now, have I ever felt comfortable being in a bathing suit and walking around. I take that back. 5 years ago when I had my friend appreciation party, I did wear my bathing suit and I walked around pretty freely then, but I was also pretty drunk on that day, so that doesn't count. But I was actually really comfortable. And again, I guess it's just the atmosphere of, just how accepting everyone is, and the group of people I was with in that class too. This was like the one group that was out there that was, I don't think out there for the same reasons as the rest of us. They were basically a big group of girls that was out there partying, and they'd get dressed up every night, and they always had makeup on and their hair done, and they were like the only group out there that was like that. But I didn't feel comfortable around them. I didn't even care. So that was actually really huge for me. But anyway, so back to Wednesday. So I had the different shapes and colors treatment. And then I did this sound ceremony thing. And this was with the lady that did the Himalayan bowl thing. Now I kept this appointment because I thought there was a massage involved in it. And there actually ended up not being. But it was still an interesting treatment. It basically involved looking up what different flowers mean to humans. Like, my biggest one was it poison oak or prickly oak or something like that. Basically something that I was like, okay, that like describes me to a T. So it was stuff like that. And then you would find what flower would actually like fix that problem. And then she added a bunch of different, I don't think it was oils, but something into a bottle with all the different types of flowers, not like baking flour, but like flowers, plant flowers. And I just remembered this too. I'm supposed to be spraying this stuff on 4 different parts of my body, a few times a day until it runs out. But that is supposed to help bring out the positive stuff that you need, instead of all the negative stuff that your body holds on to. So, that treatment was okay. She was really nice. She gave me her card because, again, I had different treatments with her and her husband, and they're here locally. So, she let me know if I ever needed anything to call her up, privately, and she could help me out. So I thought that was really cool. I definitely really enjoyed all of the counselors there, all the therapists. They were all extremely nice, and especially when they found out that I lived in Tucson, they were all very willing to, let me contact them later on if I needed to for anything. So I might be able to get some of the benefits from them of not actually having to pay all the money to go out to Miraval. So that was really cool. But after that treatment, that's when I went home. And, it's interesting because I thought on my drive home I would be, really relaxed and just whatever, but the exact opposite was true. It was like, I don't even know what my problem was, but driving home I was cussing at everyone. I felt extremely irritable. I was angry that people can get out of my way, and I thought I'd be like, oh, I just came from this nice relaxing place. Everything's gonna be great, but I was like angry, and I'm thinking now that part of it was just because I was really sad to be leaving, and that I knew in order to feel the same kind of acceptance that I felt at Miraval, I would obviously have to learn to do that myself, because you can feel that even if people are judging you, because it's really how you perceive it and how you react to it. So Miraval made it really easy because people weren't staring and judging, but I now know I have to do that on my own. So I think I was just irritated about that, but I know it can be done. I haven't done too great with it. I've definitely been in a better mood and a little more joyful, but I'm really glad that I looked over all this today so that I could learn to be even more so, because I definitely still need a lot of work on doing that. So I'm going to continue to work on that. One other thing I want to mention is I actually bought, before I left there from the spa, a Clarisonic face cleaner, or like the brush, the vibrating like brush that cleans your face, because it was suggested to me that I probably should clean my face and use moisturizer. So I bought that, and I bought a couple different kinds of moisturizer, and I've actually been using the the cleaning regimen, every day since I've been out there. So that's felt really good. That's doing something really nice for myself, and I don't know, I guess it's just really nice to do something for myself. So it seems kind of funny because I'm just like cleaning my face and using moisturizer, but my 35 years, I've never done any of that. So it just feels good to actually take the time to do some care for myself. So that's cool. To finish up, there were 2 things that were recommended to me by the guy who did my spirit flight treatment. One was that when I go and get massages, typically right now I try to get a certain kind of massage where they really work out the knots in my back, which is more like an acupressure type massage, because I really want to feel it, feel the knots release, and it's painful, but that feels really good to me. He suggested that from now on, when I go to get massages, that I try to just fall asleep. Now, I've fallen asleep with massages before, and I actually get really angry because I'm not awake enjoying the massage. So I figure, what's the point of that? But he had a good point in that a lot in my life, I equate like pain with love. So in order for my body to feel good for massage, it kind of has to hurt. Well, obviously, it seems really simple. No, that's what I'm saying, obviously, but apparently it wasn't real obvious to me until then. He was saying, love doesn't have to hurt, which obviously I do know that, but so he said, therefore, I should recommend just a normal pressured full body massage and just try to fall asleep. So I've had one massage since then, and I kind of chickened out going that route, so I haven't done that yet, but I am going to try on my next massage to let the therapist know that I want a, normal pressure full body massage. Excuse me. And let her know that I'm going to try to fall asleep. And apparently that's going to be really good and relaxful for me, which does make sense. So I do want to try that. There was one other thing that he suggested, which I don't really want to talk about quite yet because I haven't talked to the other person that it involves yet, which just sounds really sneaky and creepy, but it's not. It's nothing bad. I just need to have a conversation first before I share that. But there was just some really good tips and pointers that I got out of my whole experience. So just to really summarize everything, when I first got there, I felt disappointed because nobody was dressed up, really. They seemed a little too laid back and not like eager to have me as their guest, which I'm used to that kind of treatment when you go to high-end, really expensive places. But then again, in hindsight, I'm kind of glad that it ended up being that way because it forced me to ask for help. I really did enjoy all of the treatments. The most beneficial one was the equine treatment and probably the spirit flight, even though it was very bizarre. It was very insightful, and I definitely enjoyed doing something different. I also really enjoyed the facial, which again, that led me to take steps after I left there to care for myself a little bit more. So that's been really important to me. I want to say also that I've talked to other people about taking these kinds of trips and completely disconnecting, and they've said there's no way I cannot use my phone or anything like that. You'd really be surprised. The first day it felt very awkward, and not because I wanted to get on Facebook and see what other people were doing, but because mainly I wanted to send John a text saying this is what I just saw, or I don't know, just share pieces of my day with him. And so I really had to hold back on doing that. But by the second day, it felt really normal to just not be worried about anyone but me, which sounds really selfish, and in a way it is, but that's good. At the end of the day, I talked to him every day. We FaceTimed, and I was able to summarize to him what my day was like and what I experienced. So knowing that I didn't have to do it right in the moment, it actually felt really good. And it was interesting to me that just by day 2, I was already comfortable not wanting to look at my phone. I turned off all my notifications on my phone and my iPad, so I wouldn't even be tempted to look at anything. I set my phone up so I couldn't accept any phone calls, emails, anything like that. I hardly read at all while I was there. I mostly found myself, when I had downtime, just kind of taking everything in, which really surprised me. I thought I would be really bored, But I wasn't. Same with every time I'd go to eat, I didn't do anything while I ate, but sit there and eat and just look around and just really enjoy the moment that I was in, which was really enjoyable and actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be for me. Really, the first day was the only day it felt kind of awkward. After that, I got used to it. I was confused by the property at first. I'd get turned around really easy. By the second day, I felt like a pro. I could walk, not a pro, but it felt like I'd been there many times before. It was really easy to figure everything out after the initial day of just being completely out of my comfort zone and not knowing what I was doing. So that was all really good. I mean, I'd really recommend to anyone. You don't have to go to a fancy place like Miraval, although you can go there and not spend a lot of money because they have so many free classes and seminars. You can pretty much do it by just paying for the room, and you still get your food included. But even if you went camping or something where you could completely disconnect and just spend some alone time, I would definitely recommend that to anyone. Even if you think there's no way you could do it, you'd be bored, I bet you would be really surprised at just how easy it is to just be in the moment and just really enjoy it. I also planned on doing different kind of physical activities, even if it was just meditation or yoga or whatever. I mean, they have all kinds of things out there. But I actually didn't make it to any of those, which was okay. I did a lot of walking while I was there. Just the timing of everything didn't really work out for me to go to any of those kind of classes. But I might try that if I go back again. There's also a ton of other activities that I didn't even do. There's so many outdoor things. There's like trust things. There's outdoor type things where you're like zip lining or you're trusting other people, you know, in group like settings. Just so many more different types of options. I really wanted to focus on relaxing, so there's spa stuff and a lot of really one-on-one detailed type sessions. So that's what this trip was about for me. But there's so much more you can do out there. But anyway, even if you don't do that, you know, if you can just somehow, even if it's just a day, just take a day just for yourself and just disconnect. No TV, no emails, no texts, no phone calls, no nothing, no distractions, just kind of spending the day for yourself. I would definitely recommend it. So anyway, I think that about sums up my trip. This video is super long, but if you're interested, I'm going to post my other videos that I made each day so that you can kind of see the differences. I'm also going to I'm going to do a time lapse, I think, of all the footage I took of the property, because the property is really beautiful. But nobody wants to sit there for, you know, again, like 15 minutes watching me just walk around with a camera. So I'll speed it up so you can see it. I'll also post different pictures of different meals that I had. That's one thing I'll just mention really quick, was that the food was really good. So, anyway, I'm really glad I went. I appreciate everyone supporting me in going. I had lots of support before I went of people just really happy for me that I was going to do this. People that were excited to see what the outcome was and how it turned out for me. So I really appreciate everyone giving me that support. I appreciate all of you who have stuck with me. I think I'm going on like 34 minutes now watching this video. And again, if you want to watch the other videos, you can kind of see in my face the differences of how I react to things and just kind of how things are going. So anyway, thank you, and again, I really recommend everybody taking this time to do something like this for themselves as well. I love you all, and we will talk soon. Bye.